isn't just another game of rugby league. It's the reward for an entire season of sacrifice. Months ago, every club began the same journey. Every player believed they could be here. Every supporter dreamed of nights like this. But tonight, the Bulldogs, the Sharks, 80 minutes stands between one of them and a place in the grand final. This is where reputations are tested. This is where leaders emerge. This is where ordinary moments become unforgettable memories. Because finals football has a way of asking one simple question. When everything is on the line, who stands tallest? The Bulldogs have carried an undeniable belief throughout the finals campaign. From the conversations around the league to the performances on the field, this is a club that's embraced the spotlight and backed its football every step of the way. Cronulla has matched that belief in its own way. Their journey has attracted a little more attention and have sparked plenty of discussion throughout the finals, but through it all they've continued to play quality football and prove they belong on this stage. Whatever has been said, they have earned the right to be here, one win at a time. There has been no shortage of confidence from either side leading into tonight, but confidence alone doesn't win finals football. Tonight, belief has to become action. One of the biggest tactical points leading to tonight belongs to Cronulla. Captain John Boy Mayava and Vice-Captain Lonnie Lawrence will both start from the bench. It's a bold strategy, but one that's become a trademark of this Sharks side. When those two enter the contest, they won't just bring fresh legs, they'll bring leadership, composure and experience exactly when it's needed most. John Boy Mayava, the heartbeat of this Sharks outfit, whether he starts or comes from the interchange, has a remarkable ability to steady the ship and lift those around him. Finals football is built on big moments and John Boy has made a habit of delivering them. Greg Mayava has been nothing short of a revelation since arriving midway through the season. He's become one of Cronulla's most dangerous attacking weapons with an incredible instinct for finding the try line. Give him half a chance and he'll make you pay. The Sharks have also built their success through the middle. Nate Macquarie, Buvalakawa and FBA are the engine room that keeps this side rolling forward. They do the hard work, win the ruck and create the platform for the stars around them. And then there's Jimmy Lopez. He's the kind of player who only needs one opportunity to change a game. Blink and you might miss the moment that turns this preliminary final on its head. The Bulldogs' rise this season has been built on the belief, and much of that belief has come under the leadership of Aaron Beckman. Stepping into the captaincy midway through the year is never easy, but Beckman has embraced the challenge, bringing calm, confidence and direction when his side has needed it most. Rhys Davis has quietly become the competition's most dangerous tactical weapons. His kicking game has transformed field position all season long, and his ability to find a 40-20 can change the momentum of a match in an instant. If territory decides tonight's contest, expect Davis to play a starring role. Steve Smith might be one of the newer faces in Canterbury colours, but he's announced himself in a hurry. Every week his confidence grows and tonight presents the biggest opportunity of his young SRL career. The Bulldogs forwards have laid the foundation all season. Junior Hellier, Jackson Remy and Jamal Kausakau have done all the tough work through the middle, allowing Canterbury's attacking players to play with confidence and freedom. If they win that battle tonight, the Bulldogs will be incredibly difficult to stop. And that's what makes this preliminary final so compelling. Two clubs, two different journeys, one built on momentum and unwavering belief, the other on resilience, adaptability and trust in a game plan that has carried them this far. Tonight won't be decided by what happened in round 6. It won't be decided by predictions. It won't be decided by the conversations that have filled the league. Two proud clubs, one place in the grand final. Greatness isn't promised, it's earned.
Two clubs, both alike in dignity. In the middle of Sydney, where we lay our scene, from ancient grudge break to new mutiny, where civil blood makes civil hands unclean. Welcome in, folks, to your Tuesday night preliminary final. You may be wondering why Shakespeare got a mention today, but even the great man himself couldn't script a storyline like we have right here. The two biggest clubs, I think, in the SRL in terms of chat activity and pure arrogance shaping up to knock each other out here tonight. I am so excited to see which team goes through and which team season ends right here, right now. Snicko Bro in the box, joined for the first time in quite a while by AMAC. And I tell you what, AMAC, it's good to have you here.
Oh, it is beautiful. The Shakespearean overtones, Snicko. One of these two teams are going to be thrust up against the wall and have their maidenhead taken. It's going to be a beautiful night for football.
Yes, and you would have to call these two clubs star-crossed lovers because the more they seem to interact in chat, the less they seem to be able to stop themselves from doing it. And I'll tell you what, it is going to be an absolute blockbuster here tonight. The Bulldogs coming off come from behind victory against the Warriors in week 1 of the finals, which saw them get a rest, whereas the Sharks put the Dolphins to bed last week in an aquatic battle for the ages, which has led these two teams here. One team through to the grand final, one team over forever. And it's the Sharks with first touch as Nathan Macquarie gets a good 20-odd metres off the carry. We all know how important field position is to start your set at the start of each game, and the Sharks will just be looking to go forward here as Poesia Foalei goes forward. And one thing to note, FPA with an early touch made it known in chat that he's never lost to Hell Yeah in SRL football, so could tonight be the night? With State of Origin looming in a couple of weeks and the two men captaining their respective states, you've got to think Dan Hellier is going to have a crack here tonight as FPA is brought down on the 40. And it looks like we're going to see a 40-20 attempt. It's Jimmy Lopez to the right of the ruck, but he instead just goes straight downfield for a pretty good opening set from the Sharks. Dom Ponkston, my favourite fullback at the moment, gets the ball and makes a half break. It's all happening so far here tonight, Anthony.
Oh, the amount of storylines out there on the field tonight. The SRL writers have absolutely been firing off as, lovely offload to Lachlan Holmes and Rhys Davis, and not a very good pass, forcing it a bit too early here tonight, Snicko.
Yeah, Rhys Davis has been in great form this season, but that's the moment he would like to have backwards there because the Sharks were on the back foot with the line break from Lachlan Holmes. And I'll tell you what, this referee's not doing a great job of keeping these teams on side, is he, Anthony?
No, and I suppose you get a bit of leeway when it comes to the final footy because you want to see some real hard-hitting defence here and there, but they're taking a little bit of a proverbial piss at the moment.
Yeah, let the boys play, I heard, ring out throughout the stadium, and we'll have to see which team can sort of make the most of this as Nate Macquarie finishes off the set there for the Sharks. And they didn't really go too far, 21 metres gain, but more importantly, no errors from the Sharks so far as Lopez once again goes across field. Lachlan Holmes for his second touch of the game is brought down in a pretty good tackle by the Sharks covering defence. And this will be the first time the Dogs really have to work it out of trouble as Malou goes to Junior Hellier, the big man, driven backwards there by his opposite number. Mobs and Hellier, the two of them have just been dynamic probably for the last month of the SRL season. And that 1-2 punch is something they can really rely on here tonight as Kasikai goes inside border Ponkston, and hard work here for the Dogs, Anthony.
Yeah, they had a pretty good run of it in their first little set that kind of ended negatively. What we've seen from the Bulldogs all season, though, is they can have these little sort of 2 or 3 minute difficulties, and then they can just explode out of the box. And this is what the Sharks really need to be careful of because they have won their last 2 finals games in pretty dirty, gritty conditions. If the Bulldogs start getting a run on it, they might find themselves hard to reel back in.
Yeah, all season the Dogs, you call it explode out of the box. I think they just make things happen. Hey, they're a flashy team. We saw it already with the back-to-back offers. Now Whittaker gets a line break and goes straight over Ponkston. He heard us talking about the Bulldogs and he wanted to show that the Sharks are here to play as well as they go right side. A big line out. Mayava to Cummins is brought down, and still a whole lot of chat about whether Cummins is the fullback for the Sharks permanently, or at least until the end of the season. With Mayava coming off the bench, it's just risky as Vivalangawa there cleans up a pretty scrappy play. The captain off the bench, it's just a strategy you don't see too often. John Boy was heard saying, count the teams on the left at 1 out of 4 is doing the captain off the bench, but I prefer to think of it as 3 of the 4 best teams have their captain on the field to start, Anthony.
And not just captain off the bench, but vice captain off the bench as well. So their entire leadership team is currently sitting on the bench warmers at the moment. And whilst it kind of has worked for them not all season, for a good part of the season, you would hate to think that your best team isn't out there for the first 20.
Yeah, exactly. As far Poisi Fa'alii cleans up a loose ball. The Dogs, they're going to have to get a bit scrappy here to try and keep the Sharks out of the red zone. They turn the ball over a couple of times in a row. That's going to help. Maiava just gets leveled there by Mobs. And now they go right once again. Poisi Fa'alii, he's been workman-like in this first couple of minutes. Yet to have any real big moments, but lots of touches on the ball. As now Maiava goes left to Vuvalangawa, who gets leveled as well. The Dogs have come to play here. And they're going to go short side here. Jimmy Lopez puts up a pretty well-placed bomb. Are we going to see a tap back instead? No, it's Jai O'Neill, but he might get forced back here. What's the call from the referee? Yep, that's a line dropout and more pressure building on this Bulldogs defensive line.
Yeah, they have not really had a good run of it so far. Every time the Bulldogs get the ball, they either make minimum meters up the field or they throw a really risky offload straight into the hands of a Shark. So they have had that break since first week of finals, and sometimes that break can either be a blessing or a curse, Snicko. So they need to do something quickly or things could get a bit dire here.
Yeah, they need a bit of WD-40, I think, at the moment. A bit rusty, the Dogs team, as Cummins is brought down there. A good first 3 tackles from their defence. The Sharks are just going through the motions at the moment, happy to play the long game and really wear down the Bulldogs defensive line as Maiava goes for a dart. 4th tackle, 19 out from the line. They go left, Vuvalangawa. He's going to struggle forward here to get close. We could see a grubber. Don't think we will, but 5th tackle here. They go left one more time. Poisi Fa'alii, scratch that. He does grubber it. Cleaned up by Beckman on the first tackle, so it wasn't a knock on either. The Dogs, they've done quite well, and one thing that you can see in the SRL this season is if you can absorb these periods, you can really come back and score 1 or 2 on the trot, and that'll be what the Dogs will be trying to do here. As Ruben Mobs now beats 2 and gets the offload away to Nate Roberts, who's going to be into the backfield, brought down on the 40-metre line. And this is exactly what Anthony was talking about earlier. The Dogs can just make things happen out of nowhere as Kausikau now is driven backwards. 4th tackle, 39 out from the Sharks line. They probably won't get an attacking kick unless something fantastic happens this play. Jai O'Neill, the man who started it all, brought down 31 out from the line. And for the first time, we're going to see the Dogs kick within the Sharks' territory. And it's a nice punt downfield into the custodian, Ben Cummins. Oh, who just gets folded there. Ben Cummins is going to have a sore shoulder after that one, Mac.
Yeah, and this is where the Sharks really need to put their foot on the pedal here because they've shown that they've got the attack, not necessarily to penetrate the Bulldogs' defense at the moment so far, but they've definitely had the attack to stay up the other end of the field. Whether or not they've got the attack to get out of their danger zone here could be a real test for them because it looks like, Snicko, the Bulldogs, they are starting to warm into their game here.
Yeah, they've definitely aimed up this set, that's for sure. Ben Cummins, for the second time, just gets sat down, and it's going to now be Maiava to punt downfield. A pretty good clearing kick. Ponkston takes it on the full, and he's going to get back to just about halfway. Dom Ponkston with a great run there. The Dogs out of nowhere really winning their field position battle now as Kausikau comes in field and gets hit by, I'm actually not sure who that is, as now left. Tyrese Tonga makes a little line break in. With Origin selections coming up, some would say Tyrese Tonga hasn't quite reached the heights that he did last season, so he's going to want to have a big preliminary final, potentially a grand final, to really press his case as Davis there is brought down. Kombalu now gets into the first receiver, goes to Tonga. That's what we like to see from him. He gets a good 20-odd meters there. It looks like they want to go out to the right, the Dogs. That's what they do. Reece Davis with a good clearing kick across field, and I don't think there's going to be too much time for Werman to move. There isn't. Great coverage from Jai O'Neill to bring him down, and just like that, Anthony, the Sharks really struggling to get out of their own half.
Oh, definitely. Although, scratch that. Having said that, though, Jai O'Neill, he was in perfect chance to actually leap over Werman and steal that for a try there. So I don't quite know what happened with the kick chase for that. It might be a bit of a missed opportunity, but with 4 minutes left until we have some fresh boys on the field, some of these forwards, they need to steal a little bit more out, or kick opportunity here, Snicker.
Yeah, and it looks like Maiava's going to go for it. He's hit it pretty well. Ponkston is coming across in cover, but I don't think he's going to get there. A 40-10 from Maiava to put the Sharks right back on the front foot. We said their forwards weren't getting it done. So their spine player steps up, and now Poisi Fa'alii takes the first hit up. With 3 minutes left, can Vuvalangawa get over? He's just on the right of the ruck. Instead, they go left. Whitaker, he's driven backwards there. A great tackle from the Dogs. They're really resolute in their defence so far this game, but eventually all things must break as Sinclair tries to get over the line. Doesn't happen. They go out of dummy half now. Maiava, he's going to score. The Sharks are on the board early on the back of a terrific 40-20 from one G Mayava. A second G Mayava scores there. And I think that was probably coming for quite a while, Anthony.
Yeah, I think the Bulldogs, they're probably a bit lucky they've only sort of
Conceded the one.
negotiated, the one so far. Greg Mayava, though, he has been a special addition to the Sharks ever since he came in sort of midway through the season. For someone who a lot of people will need to remember is a very much in his rookie season, halfway through his rookie season, he could be a smoky for a nomination for a SimVP award at the end.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised as Cummins slots this one straight over the black dot to make it a 6-point ball game here. And if you consider this game in 20-minute periods, which I know some captains do, this one, it wouldn't be a knockout punch, but you definitely call it a points victory to the Sharks, Anthony.
Yeah, and when it comes to finals footy like this, you kind of have to focus on what you can there. Some of these games become quite tiresome. Not a lot of points being scored. Yeah, attritional is the perfect word there for it, Snicko. So if the Bulldogs, they need to be the next people to score because the Sharks, they've got a taste for blood now, and you don't want to be in the water when that happens.
That's exactly right. And one thing we do know is that the Sharks can put on points pretty quickly. We saw them do it last week against the Dolphins. And yeah, the Dogs, they're a good leading team. We saw they could come back against the Warriors. They were down 12-6 before Reece Davis 40-20 really kick-started their game, and they ended up winning that one 16-12. It's going to be a tougher test here tonight. Or Ben Cummins is not having a happy night, is he? But I digress. As yeah, the Dogs, we know they can come back, but the best teams, the only teams left in the competition are the 4 best teams. So it gets harder and harder to make these big comebacks every week. So just like Anthony said, they're going to want to get on the board early as Jimmy Lopez puts in a pretty good clearing kick to Lachlan Holmes downfield, who goes straight up the middle of the field, beats a couple. Doesn't quite get there. One thing I've noticed, Anthony, is the Dogs, they're starting their sets about halfway, which is great, but they just can't seem to crack the red zone like the Sharks have.
No, and I think if the Sharks weren't putting in these massive clearing kicks down the field, things might be a little bit different at the moment. So those halves, as long as they can stay a little bit fresh and share the kicking duties around, this meterage they are making off the boot is phenomenal work for the Sharks.
Yeah, one thing to note, and I actually didn't pick this up, hell yeah, it was in the 8 tonight with Mobs in the 13. Is that a regular occurrence for the Dogs? I know they've switched and swapped all season, but for finals, has it been a Mobs lock positioning?
Yeah, I think Mobs has been normal 13 for the last sort of back end of the season, if nothing else.
Yeah, gotcha.
Ever since he gave up the captain's patch.
Yeah, very interesting. So yeah, he's on the field along with now Jeff Garbo and Steve Smith. And I tell you what, Steve Smith, he's a funny looking man. He'd fit right in at the Roosters. That's the most positive thing I can say, I think. He's come on the field, in the bald head, as Podgy Hodgie makes a nice little offload there. And another man, Podgy Hodgie, that we haven't really seen touch the ball too much this game. But we know what he can do if he gets a bit of a roll on us. Now Lopez, speak of the man. Yeah, there's a strip. Steve Smith gets the ball straight off him. And yeah, Smith, he's a weird looking dude, I'll tell you what. But he can make things happen, which is the kind of attribute you want from your rookies. They can't do things every single game, but he's sort of emblematic of the Bulldogs, pulls things out of his rear end when his team needs it the most, Anthony.
Yeah, Smith and Garbo, they're known as the Punch Brothers over at the Bulldogs. Not because they put the punches on, but because their face looks like someone you'd have punched here and there. But it works superbly for them because the defense, they kind of just balk a little bit when they run at the line.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that. And they've given the Dogs their first real attacking chance of this half. It'll be a dagger if they score here. They go to Davis. He puts in a pretty tasty bomb here, but it looks like, we get the tab back. Malou, what can he do? No evade there from Malou. The opposing hooker got him in Mayava, and just for half a moment, I thought we were going to see a try out of nowhere for the Dogs. Instead, the Sharks, they cope well here, and maybe they'll have to look at another 40-20. Jimmy Lopez breaks a couple of tackles. Isn't he having a game, Anthony?
And we got to speak about Jimmy Lopez's performance last game for the Sharks. Well, 2 tries of his own. He got the winning field goal in the end. 40-20s to set the Sharks up for a couple of scores here. So if Lopez can have another night like that, then I think you can almost put this one to bed.
Yeah, I got to say I agree with you. The Sharks with some expansive ball play out to the left, and on the field for them, most importantly, is their vice captain, Lonnie Lawrence. He's sat back and watched the first 20 minutes, and they want to come on and really have a crack here. You have to wonder, Anthony, if he's going to move on at the end of the season and accompany either Podgy Hodgie or John Boy into a different team, or whether he'll stay at the Sharks and try and lead them to victory next season as well. But That's all questions for other people to answer in the future, because at the moment we have a game in our hands. Kaustikau now. Oh, Kaustikau, I was about to say, had a nice run, but he threw a risky offload and Werman comes down with it. The Sharks, they're making the most of their opportunities. Oh, Gabe Walsh folded by Jai O'Neill. It's been a physical game here tonight, but both teams are still willing and able to put their bodies on the line as Whittaker pushes forward. And that's the man that might be looking for a rep jersey at the end of the season, as now Jimmy Lopez ball plays out to Mayava. The halves linking up to get the Sharks to about 30 out from the Dogs line. They need a big run here if they want to see any kind of output at the end of this one. And that's what they get from Senior before he's brought down in a good tackle there by Tyrese Tonga. And I think we have Mayava. No, it's Poesi Afawali in position to kick. He goes across field to Jai O'Neill. Great cover tackle there from the Sharks left centre. I believe that's Lachlan Sinclair. He really timed it, just like O'Neill did earlier, Anthony. He just didn't get greedy and waited for the ball to come down. Oh, and Garbo now. He seemed like he wasn't really going anywhere, but he pinched off a good 30 metres and a big fend to finish it off. The Dogs there, individually, they're starting to have a crack. They just need to put it together as a teammate, Mac.
Yeah, with 12 minutes left until the halftime break, you kind of want to power into this second half with a bit of momentum here, and especially because Smith and Garbo probably won't be finding their way onto the field unless there's some injury shenanigans. The Bulldogs, they found themselves all the way back up here with 63 metres gain. So whilst it looks like everything's going the way of the Sharks at the moment, the Bulldogs, they're doing enough to hang in here.
Yeah, this game is really on a knife's edge at the moment, and Senior is going to bring a good carry back there. Both teams are sort of playing between the two red zones. Since that Sharks try, we haven't seen a whole lot of attack, really just that Malou tap back attempt from either team. Just yardage games at the moment as Lonnie Lawrence gets a nice half break there to carry the Dogs' defence backwards slightly. And yeah, just all game, the A and B defender are offside, but I digress. The referee's just letting things happen here. Podgy Hodgie is brought down in a good tackle. They might look at a 40-20 here. Instead, no, they're going to go out to Jimmy Lopez, who puts on a little bit of a shuffle before he's wrapped up in a great two-man tackle, by the Dogs. And the Sharks, they're not quite going anywhere yet, so they're going to go to Werman downfield. Here he goes, and he's going to chase his own kick here as Jai O'Neill comes back on the kick return, beats one, but the staggered line of the Sharks gets him and brings him down. Hunting impacts here, the Sharks. Kaustikau now driven backwards. And the Dogs, they need Steve Smith or Jeff Garbo to step up here. Yes, Beckman, the captain, throws a forward pass, not called. Nate Roberts brought down on the 40-metre line. They're sort of not winning the middle of the ruck at the moment, the Bulldogs. Their edges is playing quite well. Or Beckman, he'll want that moment again. But they can't really get their penetration through the middle of the ruck. We've seen what Poesi Afawali'i did. Vivula and Garwa had a couple of line breaks for the Sharks. The Dogs, with the probably exception of Mobs, who's gone missing in the last 20 minutes or so, to be completely honest, they haven't really been able to get moving, I think would be my summary so far, Anthony.
Yeah, we saw in that first quarter, the Bulldogs were most dangerous when they were working through their second phase play. And at the moment, they're just trying one-out stuff, either up the middle or up those tram tracks there, as the fatigue of the half is really wearing into them. So if they want to either score before the end of the half, or at least look at scoring in the second half, they need to return to that expansive second phase play to really trouble some of this staunch defence here from the Sharks.
Yeah, I have to wonder if it's a bit of a tactics from the captaincy group, if they're just trying to play in a bit of a holding pattern here and get to half-time at only 6-0 down. They can get some fresh troops on, get some of their leaders back on the field perhaps, and then really try and take the Sharks to the cleaners. But the Sharks will be happy that the Dogs aren't throwing them anything at them, so we'll have to wait and see. I won't know really what the right answer is until this game's over, as Holmes now gets into the backfield, brought down about 45 out. And this is a pattern we've seen too many times. The Dogs with some good field position, but it's just not quite good enough to get him into attacking territory at the end of the set, as Garbo can't repeat his early heroics, take him backwards like a bag of trash. As Kaustikau now, that's what we like to see. Kaustikau through the middle with a good line break. The Dogs, they're starting to click into gear here, but we've had an injury and next frame from Jamal Kaustikau. That could be catastrophic for substitution patterns for the Bulldogs as he runs off the field. Mobs brought down here, just too much tackling for Kaustikau on that right edge. They go left here, Reece Davis. Short ball to Tonga, who's brought down. This is a huge play in the context of this half. It goes to Reece Davis. We've seen this one before. It's a bomb. I don't think the Chasers are going to get there. They don't. Gabe Walsh comes down with it. And Anthony, if I'm not mistaken, I think that'll see Hell Yeah into the 8. Into the 12, sorry.
Into the 12, I think it does, yeah. So that's probably not a bad thing in terms of the Sharks, because Hellier, being as well stat-wise as he is at the moment, probably means he'll be out there for the full 40 in the second half. And strength-wise and tackle-wise, he probably wants that down that
He
corner.
can handle it.
Oh, not just handle it, but that's the side that the Sharks have been making most of their line breaks. So if he can score up that edge of the field, then the Bulldogs might actually enjoy a Kasakawa injury here.
Yeah, perhaps there could be a silver lining as Gabe Walsh is brought down. With only 3 minutes left in this half, time's flown by. It's just been a big game. Whitaker is the man now that'll be shaping up against Junior for the Sharks, at least until half-time. Who knows what the Sharks are pulling at the break as Lopez now downfield. Ponkston comes down with it. Yet to see, a real moment of magic from Ponkston. He's had a lot of flashes, but none that have caught fire yet. 2.5 minutes left in this one. The Dogs, Beckman goes to Garbo, and that might mean that Mobs will come into the 8 slot, and maybe their 16 will come in to 10 right before half-time. I won't actually know until we get to half-time, but yeah, injuries wreaking havoc with substitution patterns. There's now Ruben Mobs. He's got no stamina left. It doesn't matter. He goes over Ben Cummins anyway. The former captain, he needs a break here. Really limping to half-time as Cole Malou is driven backwards there. After a good play of the ball, they just couldn't really capitalize. Steve Smith runs off the field. And they're going to go right here into the hands of Beckman, the winger turned half who's leading his team to preliminary final glory. If he has anything to say about it, Gabe Walsh brought down. We see some Sharks players run on and off the field. The last substitutions for this half, Hodgie filling in while the props get into position, doesn't go anywhere. And so when do you think we saw that try, Anthony? About, 15 minutes into this game? Both teams since then really feeling each other out, yet to land a knockout punch.
Yeah, this halftime break is going to be pivotal for both of these two teams to suck some air back into the lungs and try to work out some of that lactic acid, because if this continues the way it's going, it's a great finals footy game, but it's also kind of a little boring. I want more points out there, Snicker.
Yeah, it's tense, but it's not quite flashy football yet as Ponkston. He's going to have the last touch of the half, brought down pretty quickly there for a 6-0 Cronulla Sharks lead.
Did somebody say that you love
me? Get delivery like a G.
See, hungry dog gotta eat. Get mines every day, every week.
chicken wings to the crib? I'm sitting.
Burger in the Lolo. Hope they get the pickle in.
Wonton on the catamaran.
Noodles are noodles. Thank you, my man.
MENULOG.
Somebody say that you love.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. No Shakespeare to lead us off this time, because we have a story on our hands right in front of us, written by the SRL gods. The Sharks up 6 points against the Dogs. One of these teams will not be playing again after this next 40 minutes. Only time will tell who it can be. I think for me, the Dogs have looked great. If they can just get downfield, that's what we need to see. Oh, that won't help. Remy flattened off the kickoff. Whereas the Sharks, they were exact in how they played that game. Oh, another big hit. Mobs flattened. Yeah, very exact. When they had their chances, they made the most of it. Whereas the Dogs just couldn't quite get downfield. And maybe we're going to see that again here as Beckman's flattened there. And Anthony, how did you see that first half? We might see a 40-20 here. Give us a second before I cut over to you as Ponkston's brought down. We see Beckman run into the middle of the field. He's going to go for it. Instead, just a clearing kick into the waiting arms of Riley Senior. Now, Anthony, tell me what you saw. Oh, Senior into the backfield. Now, Anthony, tell me what you saw.
Oh, it's almost regular, that sort of thing. As we saw in the first half, whilst the Bulldogs definitely had their defence going, attack-wise, they found it a little bit difficult to get the ball because they kept throwing it away to each other. 39% possession the Bulldogs had, 10 out of 13 completions. The Sharks, they completed 13. So the fact that the Sharks had more sets completed than the Bulldogs almost had available to them, really attempted, shows us exactly what's happening out there. Having said that, though, the Bulldogs were the line breaks specialists, almost double the line breaks that the Sharks had in the first half. So when it came to meters gained in both sides, it was basically about even. What really showed the difference, of course, was that Jimmy Lopez 40-20 that set up Greg Mayava for that try. So These two teams on a razor's edge at the moment, and it's going to be some individual moments of brilliance, I think, that'll pay true to the end.
Yeah, I think every single player on the field right now has an opportunity to book his side a ticket to the grand final, and that's exactly what I want to see. Some brilliance from any of these talented players out here as Mobs, I guess, a good fend off. And I tell you what, he's having a good first 5 minutes, a couple of line breaks now, and the Dogs kicking out of trouble. Aaron Beckman there does very well into the waiting arms of Ginger Walsh, Gabe Walsh, sorry. And he gets out to the 40-metre line. So the Sharks are winning the field position battle early. That won't help. A Falcon cleaned up by Junior. Hell yeah. Not great there for the Sharks. And you may be wondering where Hell yeah is playing. He's back in that 8 role. The coach sorted things out at half time, but maybe he wants to go back to the edge. Flattened twice now, Junior. Hell yeah. As Beckman plays it inside border, no one. And Nate Macquarie comes down with it. The Sharks capitalizing on a Bulldogs mistake there after the Dogs were unable to capitalize on the Sharks.
Yeah, again, shades of the first half there, ripples almost, with the Bulldogs in perfect field position there to really press a chance and throwing it straight into their opposition, and just for the Sharks to scream their way up the other end of the field. 30 metres out, third tackle. This would be dire straits here if the Sharks can get another one early here.
Yeah, they say history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes, and that's what we're seeing right now. As Maava plays a short ball out to Maava, John Boy fresh on the field in the 17, the one and only, the best bench captain you would have to say in the SRL, because he's the only one crazy enough to do it. As there's a knock-on from the Sharks there, Mobs comes up with it for a 0 tackle. And this could be legacy defining here for the Sharks, I think. It's the end of an era for them at the end of this season with their captain and half their leadership group moving on. So they really want to book a ticket to the grand final and right last season's wrong. As now Ponkston, that's the man I'd like to see get more touches. Brought down 35 out from the Dogs line. They have a bit of a block shape out to the left. Beckman all the way out to Mobs. What's he doing on an edge? Just beating players for fun. That's what he's doing. Third tackle, sorry. Malou doesn't really go anywhere. Gets absolutely flattened. Runs backwards, breaks a tackle, gets the offload away to Hellier, who slips a tackle or two. You'd almost want to take that one on the 40 and try and kick a 40-20 instead. Ponkston's going to get out of dummy half and go negative there. An inauspicious end to the set for the Dogs, but I think this will be into the waiting arms of Beckman to kick downfield, and he's been really good at that so far this game. Much like Jimmy Lopez in the first half, Beckman's just been flogging that ball downfield in the first 10 minutes of the second, Anthony.
Yep, and this is where the Bulldogs really need to capitalise on their strong defence. One of the best defensive teams all season they have been. They need to keep the Sharks down here in this danger zone. At the moment, not too bad, but time is slowly ticking away, so they need to do more than just hold them down. They really need to put their hands to their throat.
Yeah, what they would love is a little miss kick, but we haven't really seen one here tonight from either team. As now Maava gets a little line break, tries to turn Ponkston inside out, can't do so, but really rescued the set there, the bench winger. And it means that the Sharks are kicking from just shy of their side of halfway. Maava downfield. I feel like I've said that name a lot tonight. As Lachlan Holmes takes it on the full and gets a bit of a broken defensive line. Fends one. He's going to go out though, is he? No, Lachlan Holmes. There must be only inches in that. And the Dogs have got a bit of momentum. Tyrese Tonga offload to Jackson Remy. This is how the Dogs like to play their football. Free, fast flowing, and on the edge of their seat as Ponkston now gets a really flat ball and drives forward. We said in the first half, just an attritional battle at the moment. Both sides really going for it. Jumbo Maava yet to make his first tackle. 12 minutes into this half, he misses another one. Fresh onto the bench. He's really a bit of a glass cannon build in that second row, so they're going to want to see him get some early ball. Fifth tackle of the Dogs now. 32 out from the Sharks line. They need to just get a little bit closer if they want to try and score some points. Across field, they go into the arms of Gabe Walsh, who ends up into the backfield before he's brought down in a good covering tackle by Beckman. And for all their good work, Anthony, the Dogs, they're just really every now and then letting the Sharks off the hook.
Yeah, and it's not really good to see, considering this is a game that they've been in the making of all season at the moment. Having said that, though, it's also got shades of how these two teams met each other earlier in the season. If you remember, it was a 6-0 to very late, then 6 points to 6, then the field goal from the Bulldogs, and a late try to the Sharks. So with 27 minutes left, I would hate for that to be the exact same thing that happens tonight, Snicker.
That would be actually freakish if that did happen. As now Werman is going to push forward here, and the Sharks out of nowhere have got just about to the try line. They're going to need a good attacking kick here. Right they go. Lopez, Grubbers, terrific. John Boy Maava, the bench captain, scores as soon as he enters the field. Simulated Todd Smith points to the spot. The Sharks extend their lead, and all that time waiting on the bench for John Boy, all that time watching his team do battle without him. It's all worth it on the back of that try. Lopez, the mastermind once again with a pinpoint kick. And Maava just steams onto that one. The fullback, too busy in the ruck. He couldn't get there. And I wouldn't call it a nail in the coffin, but I would say perhaps that coffin lid's starting to close on the dog season.
Yeah, I don't know what you're going to be having for dinner, Snicko, but it looks like I'll be eating crow because John Boy off the bench looks like it's going to win them the game if this continues the way it has. 26 minutes left. There's still plenty of time for the Bulldogs to come back, but this has just made the equation a little bit more difficult.
That's certainly true, and for the Dogs, they really need to click into gear here. Yet to score a try across the first 54 minutes of this game. It's not what we expect from the Dogs. They're an attacking powerhouse, but they've just been negated by the Sharks. It seems like with all the extra line breaks the Dogs have, they're not really getting big meter breaks, whereas as we just saw from the Sharks, they went just about the length of the field. And we see a short kickoff here from Aaron Beckman. That was crazy.
Well, and congratulations, SRL. You have just seen a first short kickoff in SRL history. It came in the second prelim of season 2.2, and I dare say it's the beginning of a brand new world for the SRL out there, Snicker.
Yeah, and the funny thing was, no one chased that. He literally kicked it straight to the guy that was standing on the 40-meter line. But good stuff from Aaron Beckman, I guess. I guess there is a potential that in the other prelim that airs on the Monday, there could be one. Has that been recorded yet?
Not just yet. So we still don't know who...
Theoretically, we could see one earlier.
Yeah. Oh, I wonder if this means that they fixed it up and we can have 40-meter field goals. That might be fun too.
Yeah, an ever-evolving game is the SRL, is probably the most polite way to put it. A critic would say big ants suck and they need to fix their game, but we'll live on the roller coaster as Ray Robertson goes to hell yeah. He looks a bit tired. He'll get a break in a couple of minutes before he comes back on to play that final lock stint. The Dogs, they need to fire up here because their season's slipping away. 23 minutes left in this half. At least 2 tries if they want to win this game. Ponkston, a man that needs to inject himself. And I tell you what, there's a couple of Blues hopefuls that won't mind seeing Ponkston fail to inject himself here tonight, because that is going to be a hotly contested role. Not speaking about myself, of course. I'm a unabashed Don Ponkston fan, as many people know. But tonight, yet to really catch fire, I think would be the nicest way to put it. He's had a lot of strong moments, but none that make you sit back and go, wow.
Yeah, having said that, the fullback position has been a very tricky one all season in the SRL. It's speaking of Big Ant, they kind of had a look around and went, you know what, fullbacks are a bit too overpowered. We're going to nerf them just a little bit. So it takes a very special man to be able to stand up and make a statement from that number 1 position. So I do not envy the selectors when it comes to those rep positions.
Yeah, especially for the 2 men on the field. Both Queensland and New South Wales have almost too many players to pick from. It's more of a case of who misses out rather than who gets in, because there's that many players that can do a job. Speaking of Tyrese Tonga drooping backwards there, and incumbent in the Blues in the centre zone, not in the second row, is now Ponkston. He heard us speaking about him. The ears are burning, which is probably good. They might get cold with that lack of hair on the side of his head. As now Davis, the man who spiked the comeback 2 weeks ago, plays a short ball to Jackson Remy. He's got nothing left, but Ray Robertson, he goes for a bit of a gallop. Brought down the Dogs. They've decided it's time to get things moving. Left they go, Ruben Mobbs. I tell you what, the Dogs are making a liar out of me. I said they were going to win 19 plus on the pod earlier in the week. They're going to really need to kick into gear quickly if that's to happen. Oh no, a shocking pass from dummy half falls into the hands of Marcus Ray Robertson. As a result, there's no kick in the Sharks. It's death by 1,000 cuts at the moment. I think we might be up to about 700.
Now, looking at this, remember, I'll just remind SRL fans that the Sharks, they finished the position on the ladder 5th. So this could be the beginning of someone outside the top 4 making their way to the grand final, potentially winning the grand final. On the other hand, a lot of the teams in that top 1 to 4 position have had a really struggle-filled final
They've had a
series.
tough time, haven't they?
Really tough time. We saw the Wars go out in straight sets. We saw the Dolphins go out in straight sets. Don't quite know what's happened with the Raiders on Monday night's game just yet, but potentially...
For fun, let's just pretend they lose. It hasn't been recorded yet.
No, well, next week we could see a grand final replay from season 1. So there's our first dodgy kick of the night, and the Bulldogs capitalise. 18 minutes left, Snicko. They've got to score this set, I would say.
Yeah, and I actually don't want to see a repeat. I think that'd be boring. So I really need either the Raiders or the Dogs to get up here. As now Malou out of half throws a few dummies, but he's absolutely lined up by Ben Cummins back on the field in that prop role. As now Tyrese Tonga, he'll get to about the 30-metre line. They need a good run here, the Dogs do, if they want to get an attacking kick in. Right, they go. Reece Davis is the man. Goes to O'Neill, and he gets a good offload away. Tyrese Tonga, John Boy gets him. He's missed him a couple of times here, but he definitely got him right there. Now they go right. Ruben Mobbs on the 5th tackle. He runs it. The former captain wants all the glory, but instead he gets absolutely none of it. And the Dogs, that was their best opportunity probably of the entire half, AMAC, and they just couldn't capitalise.
Yeah,
the Dogs are a socialist team.
Either that or it was a plan to try to pin the Sharks down here in their red zone. Not really working out too well if that was the plan, of course. But if they can turn it over, if they could steal the ball, if they could force an error here, they will be in some good field position. But you do not want to risk it too much because, well, the Sharks, they just need to cruise at the moment. They don't need to do much more than just protect this lead.
That is 100% right. And what we're seeing at the moment is a great defensive set from the Dogs. They kept them away from both the 20 and the 40-metre line, which means there's no chance of a 20-40 or a 40-20. What they really need now is a big Dom Ponkston run. But instead, it's great defense from the Sharks, as they have done all night on the kick returns, just turning up in numbers. And now Davis, he doesn't do a whole lot out of dummy half there. They're getting a bit selfish here, the Dogs. A lot of one-out plays. As now Lachlan Holmes into the backfield. That's what happens when they start to pass the ball well into the red zone here. This could kickstart the entire game right now if the Dogs can get over the line. They go one out. A great pass to Mobbs, the former captain. Gets within 3 metres of the line. They just need one sidestep, one fend, and they'll be over the line here. Aaron Beckman, the captain. He can't get it done, can he? No, turned on his back. Terrific defense from the Sharks. He beat one, got into the in-goal, but just not enough strength to get the ball down from Aaron Beckman. That angle tells us absolutely nothing, but if my eyes don't deceive me, he was turned on his back, Anthony.
Yeah, FPA and Senior are just getting around them, just doing what they can. FPA out there looks exhausted, so the fact he's able to tackle it all is a small miracle. And this week, oh no, another beautiful line defense there from the Sharks, and they can just start to smell the victory here, Snicker.
Yeah, definitely. That was the Sharks' best defensive set of the game, I think. They had a whole lot of pressure. The Dogs over the line for the first time tonight, but they couldn't get the ball down as Mayave comes out to about the 20. They're going to want to repeat that, the Bulldogs. They trapped the Sharks, got a good attacking set, and from there really capitalised. And that looks exactly to be what they're doing right now. They waited 70 minutes to start playing, but I tell you what, they made the game exciting. Werman, he'll be brought down 4th tackle. No chance of a clearing kicky. Oh, and we see a Falcon. The Sharks, they're starting to wobble on the ride home right now. All they have to do is hold on to the ball, and they've decided that right now is the best time to make errors. O'Neill into the 20. The Dogs, 3 sets in a row now on the Sharks line. They get a nice pass out to Isaiah Iongi. He's brought down 10 out from the line, and I think they need to find Tyrese Tonga. He could be the man here. Left they go once, Mobbs twice. O'Neill, he'll be brought down. He's going to push for the line here, O'Neill. He doesn't quite get there. 2 players out to the left. That's where they go. Tyrese Tonga, is he going to get over the line? Yes, but turned on his back here. I think we'll go upstairs quickly. The Sharks, this is season-defining defense. And every single tackle, they just keep turning up for each other. Tyrese Tonga covered up there by John Boy and Senior once again. So he's had 2 good tackles now. No tries, what we're seeing. I think that's the 5th tackle. We'll have to wait and see. It is, so a big kick needed here. They go right. Reece Davis puts in a terrific grubber, but the man was offside, Anthony. The chaser was offside, and he caught himself out of it. And the Dogs, they've once again, somehow they haven't scored.
No, we're now a point a minute at the moment, but the Bulldogs, they look like they are just about to get one across themselves. If they can just hold on, if they can just keep the Sharks down here. This is third tackle on the 10, fourth tackle on the 20. A big kick here. This could be the defining of the game here, Snicko.
Jimmy Lopez gets into position. Oh, and Cummins gets in front of him. So there's no 20-40, and instead they're just going to kick you out of danger here, the Sharks. And that is a terrific clearing kick from Jimmy Lopez into the hands of Iongi, the bench winger. He beats one. He beats two. He's into the backfield. Once again, starting to set on the 30. The Dogs, they're oh so close. If they get one, the second will follow. But they just need to get over the line. The Dogs now, they're coming home with a dead set wet sail. Steve Smith back on the field. He wasn't expecting this, but with Cascow out, here's the man. Left they go. Right they go, sorry. Beckman out to Nate Roberts. He's driven backwards. The Sharks, they are Titanic in their defense at the moment. The Dogs are absolutely peppering them, and they're up to the task. O'Neill now beats one. 11 out from the line. This is do or die for the Dogs. Who's going to take it? It's the captain, Beckman. Oh, no, Aaron. He shanked a kick there, got way too deep into the line, and I think that could be the proverbial fat lady starting to warm up her vocal cords.
Yeah, there is still time to do a quick 1-2 punch, wham, bam, double try on. But then that's a lot of time, not only two converted tries, but you also need then a field goal to win it. And at the moment, well, the last time these two teams met, the field goal did not go their way. As, oh, that's a very deep 40-20 here. Pongston's back there. He just can't get through, though. He has not had a good night attack-wise.
Yeah, and for the first time in a couple of minutes, the Dogs are starting a set well inside their own half. And the Sharks, I think they got through a really tricky period there. They had 18 tackles just about on the line that they negotiated really well. And now they can sort of, start to breathe a little bit, the players on the team and on the bench, as Pongston goes all the way out to Isaiah Hongi. I think the Dogs, they really had to strike while the iron was hot, and I think it might have just started to cool as Ray Robertson's driven backwards there, and it'll be down to Beckman now to kick, and the season slipping away from the rookie captain as he goes across field into the waiting arms of my Ava. Brought down about 20 out from the line with 6 minutes to go. The task may be too big, the mountain too steep for the Bulldogs to come back, and well, you got to say it's disappointing to see them bow out like this as Mayava now gets to about 41 out from his own line. Yeah, Anthony, I expected so much from the Dogs. They've played so well this season, but when the pressure really amped up, unfortunately, there was no diamonds formed here today.
Yeah, I think I said it earlier in the game that when the Sharks have played their last couple of finals games, they have not been pretty affairs. It has been downright bloody and brutal. And this, again, tonight, 12 points might show a little bit of a walkover, but they have earned every single point they've scored tonight, the Sharks. And the Bulldogs, whilst they might be going away with the donut, they shouldn't be too sad for themselves because they were able to go from bottom 8 up until just one dance outside the grand final. So it's not what they wanted, of course, to end the season, but it's definitely a victory for Beckman and his first season as captain here at the Bulldogs.
Yeah, a preliminary final is definitely nothing to be sneezed at for this Bulldogs team, which they're quite young, I do believe. They got a fair few first-timers in their team. They're only going to get better from here, you'd have to think, as Mayava pops up on the wing. And not the winger, the hooker pops up on the wing. And so, yeah, a bit of a... If they do well in recruitment and in the off-season, they can definitely use this as a building block. We want to have this be their, final high, so to speak, as O'Neill picks up the ball from on behalf. That's a new one. With 2 minutes left in this one, the SRL continues to surprise. And I think what they found out tonight, Anthony, is that finals football is a dead set crucible. And if you're not up to the challenge, you're going to be found wanting.
Yeah, and it also might be a case of having that week off in the finals kind of slowed down that momentum that the Bulldogs found themselves steaming into the finals with. Normally you want that rest because that rest can really give yourself a little bit more
rejuvenation.
Rejuvenation, exactly. But unfortunately, it just hasn't worked for the Bulldogs here tonight.
Yeah, and so unfortunately for the Dogs, this could be season ending. Oh, Beckman just runs over the top of Senor. He wants some points to finish. The fans want some points to finish. I want to see the Bulldogs get over the line. It's just so sad to see a team score 0, and unfortunately, I don't think they're going to touch the ball again this season.
No, and that's it. The Bulldogs have fallen short just once. The Sharks, though, they've booked themselves a grand final ticket with either the Raiders or the Storm. And whilst I don't want to wish the hoodoo on either one of those two teams, I think you said it earlier, Snicko, I don't really want to see a repeat of last season's grand final. We want to see some new blood up there in the grand final.
Yeah, and luckily for us, everyone in chat's going to already know who's made it because this game doesn't end till Tuesday. So, yeah, the Sharks versing whoever won last night. I think they'll be up for it. I think, the old adage goes, you have to lose one to win one. That's what the Sharks did last season. Can they go one step further this season? Can John Boy finish at Cronulla on a high and get that maiden SRL 2.0 ring for his team? As the hooter goes, Lachlan Home comes down with it and he beats one for the last time this season. The Dogs, unfortunately, overcome by the Sharks in probably a very high quality, you have to say, in the end, preliminary final. It was just that the Sharks' defense was just way too good here tonight.
Yeah, and that's really what it was. Defensively, the Sharks were a lot better than the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs probably had the better attack at times during the night. I mean, 29 line breaks against 21. They definitely had the lion's share of the meters gained as well, but it was the Sharks' defense that was able to keep them out. Got a bit of possession back, the Bulldogs, in the end, but it just wasn't enough. And probably that final period, that final 15 minutes or so, when the Bulldogs were really ascendant, when they were really challenging the line, that was the moment that defined the game for the Sharks there.
Yeah, and you have to wonder how much that Cascade injury played into things as well. Sort of stymied the Dogs' bench operations slightly. One thing I'd point out is 193 tackles to 170. That's about 4 extra sets worth of tackling that the Dogs had to do across the game. So 2 sets a half. Doesn't seem like much, but it certainly takes a bit of the zip out of their legs. As we'll flick over to some individual stats now and take it away, Mac.
Yeah, the Bulldogs. A lot of line running meters here, of course, and Tonga leading the charge here, 147 run meters, 13 tackles, and a couple of line breaks. Had to do a lot of defending tonight, Tonga, so it kind of took the sting out of a bit of his attack, but a couple of line breaks anyway. Ruben Mobbs, the former captain, 182 run meters, 31 tackles, a couple of kicks of his own, 6 line breaks there, a stalwart number 13, and again, whilst they might not be in the grand final, there's definitely possibly a lock of the year nod heading his way when it comes to this MVP night. Lachlan Holmes has done a job all season for the Bulldogs since coming across from the Broncos. 148 run meters. My eyes couldn't track that one. Beckman, of course, the incoming captain, 150, 15 tackles. That's a lot of tackles. 8 kicks for 340 meters. Very rarely a dud kick out there. Unfortunately, got a little bit tired towards the end there, so shanked 1 or 2, but did very well. It's very rare for a rookie captain in their first season to get as high as he did. Dom Ponkston, of course, 181 run meters, 10 tackles and 5 missed. That's more tackles than the fullback has any right to have to attempt there. And again, probably why there isn't a 2 in front of that run meter tally there. Only 2 line breaks, though, so that might be something that in the off-season Ponkston might want to look at, because you want a couple more line breaks from your fullback to really start a set down the other end of the field. Other than that, though, Rhys Davis, 97 run meters and 5 kicks for himself. Good stats across the board here. Just in any other game and against any other team, those are the stats that would probably win you the game. They just came up against a red-hot Sharks tonight, Snicker.
Yeah, and I think the other thing worth noting is that I don't know if Mobbs was planned to have played 80 minutes, but with the injuries and how things shaked out, he did, and he ended up with 6 line breaks, which is pretty phenomenal for a lock.
Oh, 100%. And it's rare to have your lock out there for 80 without playing shenanigans with your rotations. And that probably helped out a little bit in the end for the Bulldogs to only keep the Sharks to 12 points. But we'll never know in the end. It's sliding doors and all that. As we come across to the Sharks. And, resplendent in victory here tonight. We'll start here with Nate Macquarie, who, as a lock, on the other side, probably didn't have the impact that Ruben Mobbs had, but did enough up the middle to make sure that defensively they were able to keep the Sharks from penetrating. FPA, 124 run meters, 18 tackles, a kick of his own, apparently, and a conversion of his own, which is interesting coming from a lock in the back end of that game, off that John Boy kick. John Boy try at the end. It's someone who is captaining Queensland. They're the kind of stats you want from your incoming Maroons captain. There's Gugu, 152 run meters, some good kicking there from really both the halves, both Gugu and Lopez there with 140 run meters. Lots of tackling up the middle there for our two halves in the middle. And I suppose we keep saying it, and I keep repeating myself, Snicko, it's definitely their defense tonight that's won them. They might have 12 points, but it could very much have gone the other way if they hadn't really been hanging on to those tackles the way they had been.
Yeah, and the other thing to note, the 396 kick meters, not only did the defence keep out the Dogs, but they were able to consistently boot the ball back downfield, which certainly helped their case, especially in the first half where it felt like Lopez kicked for about 300 of those meters.
Oh, most definitely. Riley Senior, 122 run meters, and whilst you might look at those run meters as the thing that has defined Senior's game, I would say his defensive effort on the line in that final 15 is what really defined his game, with those two clutch defensive tackles on the try line there. Bobby Werman, 111, always good there from the Werman. And of course, we've got to talk about Vivilakawa and Gabe Walsh. Gabe Walsh, who has spent most of the season on the bench for the Sharks, has come into the final series starting in the wing position and has grabbed that position with both hands. A phenomenal game last week and another impressive game this week. Take us away, Snicker.
Yeah, that's all we have time for tonight. Join us on Sunday for the grand final where the Sharks, they've just booked that second slot. It's going to be a blockbuster. I can tell you that one for free. There's whispers of a pre-game show. We'll have to wait and see if that shakes out. But otherwise, thanks to all for joining us here tonight. It has been a pleasure as always. Have a good night, everyone.